Hello, friends. I don't know why I called you friends. I don't know you guys. I don't even know your names. But whatever. I'm probably closer to you than people I know in real life. Okay, that's getting too real and too sad. Anyway, hi, welcome back to this speed build. Not this speed build. We haven't been to the speed build. That. Okay, good start. Well done. I should start over. We're only about 10 seconds in, but I can't be bothered. You could never call me a perfectionist. But yeah, okay. This is a mansion for Del Sol Valley. You may say I'm late, you may be right, but I've done one, and it's pretty alright. I'm good at selling things. Like, I'd love to sell homes, be a real estate agent. And like, have you seen the Simpsons episode where Marge becomes a real estate agent and she's basically just too honest about houses? Like, I remember the Hibbets are like, oh, I guess the kitchen is cozy, and she's like, but it is small. And they're like, yeah, you're right, it is too small. I would be like that too. They'd be like, someone would be like, yeah, this house is quite nice, because they wouldn't want to offend me, and I'd be like, no, it's okay, it's a bit shit, there's a draft, you know, upstairs the windows don't even have double glazing, and I think some shingles fell off the roof earlier, and they'd be like, oh my god, really? Well, thank you for being honest. Like, it's fine, it's only gonna cost me my job, it's just no big deal. I'm talking about it like this has happened. I think I would kind of like to be a real estate agent, but every time I think that, I remember this TV show that was on, like, I was gonna say last Christmas, but last Christmas I was too sick to be awake. So the Christmas before that, Jesus, there was this weird show on, I've never seen before and never seen since, and it was about, I think, just rich real estate agents selling massive mansions to even richer clients. And a group of real estate agents were having a party in a house one of their clients just bought. It was incredibly strange, and they all made me uncomfortable. And it was around Christmas, obviously, and so they invited decorators in to... well, not invited, they hired decorators to come do up a massive tree. The tree was like, I don't know, 20 feet tall, but in the house, because there was just no ceiling above part of the ground floor. And I remember they were talking about just one Christmas decoration, and that Christmas decoration was custom made with, I don't know, some kind of jewels on it. I can't remember what kind, diamonds maybe, who knows. And it cost £20,000. Yeah. So that's a thing. I mean, my student loans cost less than that. And I'm in debt with student loans, and these people can afford one single Christmas decoration for £20,000. That's nice. It's like, even if I was rich enough to do that, I don't think I would. I'm not in the situation of, you know, being wealthy and having that nice a life, but if I was, I can't see myself doing that. Maybe if I was born rich, but like, if you're born, I don't know, I'm from I don't sound it, but I'm from a working class family, and I only lived with my mum growing up, and we were technically, this sounds sad, it's not really that big a deal, but we were technically below the poverty threshold, which sounds really bad, but poverty here, I think, is far different than poverty you imagine when you hear the word. But basically, she didn't earn any money, she's on benefits because she was too injured to work. So she got like £100 a month or something, or £200 a month, I don't really know, I never asked as a kid, and there's no point asking now because she doesn't receive it anymore. She gets other, I don't know, but anyway, so that's what we lived on, and just, anyway, and Tom, his family's income was not a lot as well. He's also... but yeah, so... I don't know, I can't imagine somehow coming into money and being able to spend it so frivolously, I guess. I don't know if I don't know if frivolously is the right word, because if you have such an overabundance of money, I guess it's fine, but I just can't imagine it. Like, just imagine you go on X Factor or something and you become a sensation, you get a record deal out of it, whatever, and you start making a lot of money, and then suddenly you go to fancy hotels and you're earning thousands for all of your performances, you become a headliner, whatever, that sort of thing. And like, I don't, could you get used to that? Like, if you're born into it, you're always used to it, right? But if it's something that, I guess you can, because that's happened for a lot of music artists and actors and stuff. Like Elvis Presley wasn't rich when he was born. I guess you kind of get used to having all the money. I don't know, it just seems really weird. It's just because once I went to this fancy hotel for a work event, and I think I've spoken about this a few times, but it was an odd experience. I have spoken about it before, but like there was a doorman before you got to the door that would take you to the doorman that would take you through to a foyer where they would check you in and then take you through to this other waiting area that had a bar, and then they asked if you want drinks and that sort of thing. And then when everyone had arrived, they took us through to the meeting room. And this meeting room, like, it was weird. It was too dark. There were no windows, which scared me a bit. And it was all black and red, which I really don't like those colours. But whatever. And there was a massive TV, because it's for presentations, and this really long dining table. And, I don't know, there was just always a few waiters in there to take your order. I felt so uncomfortable. I didn't belong there at all. It didn't help that me and my co-worker, I felt like we were fake being there, because everyone else there were like, oh yes, I work for Harrods, I write for their blog, I write for their newsletter, or from some kind of fairly well-known brand or label or magazine, and then we were from this wedding magazine that no one had heard of. I don't want to go into detail or anything, but it wasn't the most legit magazine. But we won't go there. That's a whole other thing. That was a whole year of things. But anyway, it doesn't bother me. Clearly, no, it does. But yeah, like I'm rambling, but I just can't imagine getting used to it if you're born with a regular, I don't know what to say, or a median amount of wealth that's like fairly low, but manageable, and then suddenly becoming rich. Like, how do you even do that? What would you do with it? I would probably just save it, donate some, then maybe buy some Pokemon cards once in a while, then feel guilty for buying something so frivolous like Pokemon cards. I don't know. Anyways, that was a whole ramble for a long time. Really sorry, that was very boring. But let's talk about the house a bit. I wanted to build a celebrity mansion as soon as Get Famous came out, but I'm terrible at everything, so I didn't do it right away. But this was inspired by Steven Spielberg's house, or one of his houses. I don't know if I think he owns a few. But so it's actually sort of Spanish Mediterranean style. It's not like a direct replica of it, it was just very inspired. So initially I was going to build a modern celebrity mansion, but since I just did the land grab house, part 2 is coming up very soon, by the way, I thought let's do something a bit more classic looking. And I think a lot of Hollywood sort of homes have this weird Spanish villa looking vibe to them. And I found a picture of Steven Spielberg's home, and it is very Mediterranean style, kind of. And yeah, I just thought it looked pretty nice, and I kind of stole the idea of it. It has sort of a central pillar in the middle of the house. Not pillar, but the entryway is taller than the rest of the house. And then there's an empty sort of walkway that separates part of the house, which we get later. Actually, you can see it now in the video, I think. Let me just flick between. Oh, this little bit of earth. Oh my god. I don't know how that came into existence, but I couldn't get rid of it. I cut this bit out, but I demolished all of the terrain, and it got rid of everything except that one square. So I also then saved the house to the gallery and re-downloaded it, and it re-downloaded the square. I couldn't get rid of it without just restarting, and I really didn't want to restart the entire house because this layout took a while. So So there's that square, but don't worry, we work with it. It's not just a random square. I mean, it is, but we work with it and make it look like it's meant to be there. We're gonna put some foundation over it, and it's gonna become a big dining area, and it's pretty alright. Not amazing, pretty alright. This little staircase we're doing now, I think everyone is currently doing the sort of those foundation staircases using the terrain tools. So I'm kind of stealing it from everyone who's done it so far, I suppose, but I really wanted to do the terrain stair and integration thing. I also put this movie viewing area down here. So they actually have two viewing areas in this house. There's one in the basement, which is dark and sort of more of a cinema, and there's a bar down there. Sorry if you heard that crack, it was my wrist, because I'm falling apart, because I'm old. And then they also have this viewing area outside, which I think, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think Evelyn Whitey why did I say YT? That's her gallery name. Evelyn. You know who she is if you're here. You know her because she's amazing. But she did something similar in her celebrity mansion recently, and I felt like I was copying, so I feel like I should credit her. But I wanted an infinity pool, which we do kind of do. I don't know how infinity-ish it is, but I gave it a try. And I wanted a movie viewing area because the people who live in this house are big celebrities. They have to be, right? Actually, fun thing. I made Sims to move in here just so I could look around it ambiently with some Sims, and obviously they weren't celebrities yet and I couldn't be bothered cheating them to celebrity them because I don't know if I'm keeping them. And when I moved them into this lot, because I gave this lot the celebrity trait, they all had embarrassed moodlets because they felt like posers, and I didn't know that was a thing, so I thought that was really cool. Fun fact. Sorry if that's absolutely unimportant. But yeah. So, I'm sorry, I still have a bit of the cold. I'm trying to muffle the congestedness. I hope it's working a bit. At least I don't have to pause the video to cough anymore. I hope I didn't jinx myself. But yeah, so excuse me. So in 1985, Spielberg was in post-production of The Colour Purple, and he was looking for a new house, because why wouldn't you? If you're rich, why wouldn't you have lots of houses? What else do you spend it on? So yeah, sorry, I did jinx myself. I'm fine now, I don't sound like I have a cold. Coughs, clears throat several times, throws up. No, I'm not going to throw up. Don't worry, sorry, that's disgusting. But yeah, so he already had homes like in Los Angeles and other places, I don't know, but he wanted to get, you know, a main house. You know, as you do, you have like 3-4 homes, but you want a main one as well. You know, relatable, right? And so he found this tile roof stucco mansion on a hillside in, I'm gonna say this wrong, but the Pacific Palisades? I've said that terribly wrong, haven't I? But yeah, so it's just surrounded by trees, full of nature, and I guess this property is also kind of flanked by trees. It's palm trees and they look very manicured, but they're pretty and the view is gorgeous. I think Spielberg's house is more countryside-ish, but you know, we did our best, we gave it a go, so it's not too bad. But yeah, it was in a dilapidated condition when he bought the house. It was pretty run down, and it was quite baronial apparently, like really, it looked like it was for royalty or something, you know, very intricately detailed gates and that sort of thing. So he wanted to make it a bit cozier, or as cozy as you can make a giant mansion become. And yet he did double it in size, so, you know, I want to make it less kingly, more intimate. Gonna make it twice the size. Makes sense, right? No. But the house is beautiful. Probably too big for me to live in. But that's not a problem because I'll never be able to afford to live there. So that's nice too. But yeah, so there we go. Actually talked about the house for once. I mean, not the house that I built, but the house it was inspired by. Up here I wanted to do a tennis court because in rich areas in the US, I don't know, there's lots of tennis courts, right? I'm basing that off of my knowledge from GTA. When you play as Michael in GTA 5, well, you can play as any of them and you'll stumble across the tennis courts, but I always found them when I was Michael. I don't know why, because he's a very basic white guy. I don't know. I always ended up playing tennis when I was playing as Michael. But anyway, that's beside the point. I really wanted a tennis court, made it kind of look like one, and I was like, well, so I was going to put it as a tennis court. I was going to put a fence in the middle that looked like a net. But the centre of this isn't actually centred for fences, if that makes sense. Like, if you turn the grid on, where I wanted to put the fence was in between the two squares on the grid, if that makes sense. So I make it a basketball court. So at least you can actually play on it now, and it's not just aesthetic. But if you wanted to make it an aesthetic tennis court, you can. You just have to use items that aren't the actual fence, or just maybe increase or decrease it in size by 1 square. And underneath it, we actually put in... Okay, I tried to make a limo. I don't think it really worked, but I left it anyway. But if it's really ugly, you can go ahead and get rid of that. Because I took one of the cars and just sized it up, and I put a bunch of them together to just make it look like a really long car, i.e. a limousine. It worked enough to the extent that if you look at it from a distance or from above, it's pretty convincing. If you look at it from the side, it's a bit ugly, so you can just get rid of that if you want. I don't know. You can make it a lounge area maybe, put another barbecue here, or just get rid of it and fence it off, or put a garden. There's a lot of things you can do. But yeah, so other than this, the property doesn't change that much. This is 2 parts, by the way, in case you haven't realised, because couldn't fit the decorating into this. Decorating took me ages. Like, I didn't know what to do with all the rooms. By the way, there are 3 bedrooms. You could easily have more than that. You could do 5 very easily, for sure. 1 bedroom is practically its own apartment, and has its own huge bathroom, like ridiculously oversized. Another room is really weirdly structured, and I thought it was a bit too strange to keep, but I quite liked it, so I did, but you can change that. But so the weird one, you enter and it's just sort of this TV setup where you can play lots of video games and stuff, and it looks like it's a teenager's room. I'm thinking it's the celebrity's son or daughter, whatever, and they're super into video games, and then they actually have an upstairs to their bedroom, which is where they actually sleep, and then they also... It's too much. So they have like the 3rd floor of the house, which is... There's only 1 room on the 3rd floor. You can see it, it's that towery sort of bit in the centre of the build, and that is like the teenager's bedroom, part 2. And so you enter their room on the 2nd floor, and it's like a gaming area, and there's tons of cans everywhere, and they never tidy up after themselves. And then you go upstairs, and it's their bedroom, which is actually fairly sparse because they're not that into like furnishing and decor. I don't know, like, they're rich, they trust their parents' judgment to buy nice furniture, it's no big deal, they don't have to do it themselves. I think they're more interested in video games. And then, yeah, beside their bedrooms, also on the 3rd floor, is their YouTube setup gaming station area. They don't have to be a gamer, you can make them like a fashion beauty guru, whatever you want. Or you can get rid of that idea, scrap it, and make it something else. But yeah, so the teenager has a tower room, which is pretty neat. And then there's the 3rd bedroom. It's far more normal than the other 2. It's still very big, don't get me wrong, but it's not an apartment like the first one, and doesn't have an upstairs like the 2nd one. It's just a very big room, on this side of the house actually, and has its own dressing room slash wardrobe area, which I imagine is the parents' room. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing what families you guys would put in here. I made one for this, but like I said, I don't know if I'll keep them, and it didn't actually fit my idea of what family was actually going to be here. And that's partly because I was halfway through creating a sim, and I thought she was perfect. I loved her a lot, and the Sims crashed. And my game doesn't actually crash very often. I'm not really sure why it did, but it was very upsetting. I complained to various people. But yeah, so part 2 of this should be up next week, I hope. So thank you for watching, I hope you like the house, and yeah, see you soon, bye! As always everyone, thank you for watching, see you next time, bye!